Hai, selamat datang ke BuzzPOP hari ini di mana kita bakal membincangkan My Hero Academia Season 5 episod 2. Jadi, para panelis kita malam ini terdiri daripada saya, Nadzru Iskandar daripada BuzzPOP TV, kaki anime kita Shaz dan juga kaki manga kita Andri. Hey guys,
Hey
Hello.
man,
how you doing man? So finally after last week was like a filler introductory episode to season 5, kita hit the ground running with Vestiges season 5 episode 2 jadi kita akan mulakan dengan segmen pertama kita hari ini. Okay guys, jadi segmen pertama kita hari ini adalah reaksi satu ayat kepada episod minggu ini. Pada aku, sebelum aku mulakan, aku nak cakap tentang tajuk minggu ini, iaitu Vestiges. Menurut dictionary, vestiges maksudnya a trace, a mark or a visible sign left by something. And aku agree that is a apt title untuk episod minggu ni because kita nampak bahawa it's like secrets upon secrets upon secrets dan menunjukkan marks left in time by either Endeavour ataupun One for All ataupun Hawks. So, apakah reaksi satu ayat korang kepada episod minggu ini? Kita mulakan dengan Andri. Silakan Andri.
I think it was informative. Yeah,
Yes,
because there's a lot of things they were telling, and there were a lot of things that we actually learned by the end of the episode.
Yeah. I think we were talking about earlier tadi yang episod minggu ni doesn't really feel very linear. Dia macam infodump, macam kau dapat 3 story arc at the same time.
Yes.
Dan dia lompat back and forth in time. So yeah, it felt a little bit not non-linear lah.
Yeah, storytelling wise, they were telling 3 stories, but currently there was no progression. I mean, the season didn't actually started. They were still telling the background stories for all the things that has happened. It was just informative. It was basically like, this was the real episode 1, and the last episode was just episode 0 filler episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shaz, apa pendapat kau tentang the info dump aspect of episode minggu ni? Silakan.
Oh, dia punya info dump was quite a lot lah. But one of the most interesting part is the fact that Dabi, which is my reaksi satu ayat Dabi seems to have a personal agenda against Endeavour. Sebab kalau dalam culture Jepun kan, if you actually call out their full name it means a big deal lah. He call out not just the hero name, he call out NG Todoroki punya name itself. Right before dia.
Aku yang tak biasa menonton My Hero Academia terpaksa macam siapa NG Todoroki?
Oh, there is Endeavour punya nama.
Ya, itu dia awal pasal aku fan baru so aku macam
I also tak kenal nama dia sangat. I only know family name dia Todoroki. But to call out the full name macam tu kan is it means there's something personal between Dabi dengan ni lah. So I'm actually looking forward to that part the most.
Nice. It reminds me of like bila kita berkeluarga bila kau tahu mak kau marah kau betul-betul is bila dia panggil full name kau kau punya full official name. Okay, kita ada komen daripada penonton di rumah komen adalah daripada Mofah di YouTube. Reaksi satu ayat, konflik keluarga Endeavour. Jangan banyak sangat spoiler Mofah untuk kita punya penonton anime kita saja Shaz. So dengan itu kita akan membincangkan 5 plot menarik daripada episod minggu ini. Segmen seterusnya. Okay, jadi plot pertama yang menarik untuk dibincangkan adalah Endeavour versus Dabi showdown. So, favorite line aku on this plot ialah this is only the beginning. Kita nampak episod ni opens with Endeavour still dalam hospital, reminiscing about kali pertama dia berjumpa Dabi iaitu di penghujung battle scene ketika season 4 antara Endeavour and Hawks versus the high-end normal. Persoalanku kepada panelis kita malam ini adalah, does Endeavour secretly suspect that Hawks is actually infiltrating the League of Villains, i.e. bekerjasama dengan Dabi? Kita mulakan dengan Syaz. Silakan Syaz.
Okay, kalau kita tengok masa Hawks dengan Endeavour were walking up the steps tu, dia punya soalan dia macam senang je. Macam mana Nomu tu tahu kita kat situ? Lepas tu Hawks punya jawapan pun macam like, it's so straightforward. And bila Hawks ada flashback to the time they were walking on the street kan, Endeavour didn't want to stop, you know, attract attention. The one that wanted to do it was Hawks.
Yeah.
So, you know, Endeavour pun tengah fikir, maybe something is going on here kan. But I have a feeling dia tak nak mention it because he has faith as a fellow hero jugalah.
Yeah. So dia macam, you know, when you are in a hospital recuperating, kau ada banyak free time kan. So kita nampak yang dia macam going through every single scene from season 4, even like scenes yang kita penonton tak pernah nampak lagi the first time Dabi berjumpa. So it's like do you think further down the season he will ask Hawk straight out like, hey, kau ni orang jahat kau orang baik, ataupun kau ni tengah nak infiltrate ke apa hal? What is your working theory?
My theory Brazil is that they will actually catch him in the act. That means mungkin at one point Endeavour akan berjumpa or ternampak Hawks dengan Dabi at one point in the same location. So dia typical Endeavour kan, dia akan mengamuk, lepas tu dia akan serang. So there will be some tension and conflict kat situ, which will be quite interesting lah kalau nak tengok how do they resolve it. Because as far as Endeavour is concerned, as we learn later down the show, he did not get any information about benda ni, about the infiltration process. Because the more people knows about benda tu,
lagi senang,
more likely your cover.
Yeah. Andri, what are your thoughts about this reminiscing point, and will it come to a head further in this season?
For this season, Endeavour probably suspects something is going on around him, but he choose to trust in those that are close to him actually. At least that's my take on it lah. He has his days of actually treating people with, you know, disrespect, suspicion was behind him. He did that for such a long time, and look what it got him now. His family just hates him, and his peers who visited him when he was injured, no one.
Dia seorang.
Only Hawks.
Yeah, man.
Only Hawks. He has that respect, but they don't actually like him. Even Mirko, the rabbit hero.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was basically there to save them at the end. Kalau tak muncul memang Dabi bunuh. And she didn't even send a fruit basket or anything to Endeavour. Let's be real. No one sent a card. No one called hello. No one, nothing. Yeah. So it just shows how popular Endeavour is amongst the peers.
It's crazy, man. Kalau kau compare dengan season 4 di mana Night Eyes is at, you know, on his deathbed, kau tengok berapa ramai orang that is there, you know, that is concerned for him. And this is hero number 1. Yeah, this is hero number 1 sekarang tau. Endeavour and like nobody cares, man.
And don't forget, dia dengan Night Eyes kat Night Eye basically have their own agency, and nobody from his own agency visited him at hospital. It's that bad.
God.
Do you remember during the past season, Todoroki kerja dengan dia kan?
Yeah.
In his agency. Betul. Yeah. Todoroki pun tak visit him.
Damn.
Yeah, it's that bad.
Okay, so it's like this idea of like ranking ni 4 seasons in kita baru nampak, you know, a full, how to say, you know, you have a basic idea of the top 10. While like before season 4, you only knew that All Might was number 1 and Endeavour was number 2. Was it revealed that Hawks was third? Ataupun is Hawks being second ni something new? Like, how did he rise up the rank so fast? Because prior to Hawks being introduced, aku tak kenal pun siapa dalam top 10 and stuff like that. Is this like a new thing? Andri, silakan.
Good question. I think it was stated that there were some heroes in the top 10. I think Hawks was one of them, if I'm not mistaken. I know Endeavor was number 2. That one is much clear. But we don't know about Hawks or Mirko until the season progress. So what we're finding out right now is basically an extension of the character list being introduced to us.
Yeah, macam world building dia was very, I feel like season pertama dengan season kedua was very much about the school. And then by
Yes.
season 3, season 4 baru kita jadi macam, oh there are, kau kena ada license, betul lepas jadi license kau ada kawasan, kau ada agency. So it's like a slowly unraveling macam bawang lah. Syah, siapa pendapat kau? Like, were you aware of the ranking beyond All Might and Endeavor sebelum ni ataupun?
Dia ada drop in the anime itself at certain points, tapi sebab dah lama tak tengok kan, the previous season they did mention, oh this one hero nombor berapa, ini hero nombor berapa. Contohnya kalau tak silap they did mention Mr. Shark guy, I tak ingat nama dia, the Shark guy.
Oh, the
Yes.
Orca.
Orca.
The Orca punya guy, and then Hawks pun was mentioned at some point. Also mungkin dalam manga they have all this what do you call it, extra pages kat belakang-belakang tu. I don't know, Andri, dia ada ke?
Yeah, they do.
Macam kalau-
But there's too much information to actually remember.
Oh.
Even
But
being JC's, I don't even know what number he is actually right now.
Yang mana?
Siapa
Sorry, yang mana satu?
Jin basis, the one yang pakai denim sampai ke sini, yang
dulu he was number 3 before he was injured severely, and then he was taken out for a while.
Yeah.
Oh.
So memang ada, they were already listed, which is quite funny lah. Mamat yang buat jeans and everything is number 3, but that's not just in terms of power tau. Dia punya visibility, dia punya sambutan daripada the population and whatnot. So that's why All Might is number 1, because he's universally loved tau.
Betul.
About the only person yang tak suka dia on the non-villain punya side was Endeavor lah. But even Endeavor had a certain respect for him. Siap marah lagi, right? You know, why are you so weak at that point? Kalau tak silap. So the ranking has always been around. Cuma kita, like you said lah, dekat the revelation of the new rankings baru dia orang nampak, oh ini rupanya Orca tu, oh this is the one yang nombor 2 baru and so on.
Yeah. So yeah, I look forward to knowing more about Hawks lah, which brings us to the next segment. Tapi sebelum itu kita akan baca beberapa komen daripada penonton di rumah ya. Komen pertama daripada Facebook, Muhammad Tamizi Muhammad Ali. Endeavor berkongsi parut dengan Shoto. Sama macam Prince Zuko. Pengguna api. It's nice lah. Sekarang father and son have something to talk about parut dekat mata kan. So it's like next comment daripada Mofa di YouTube. Endeavor siapa je berani nak jumpa, anak dia pun tak pergi. Actually plot point tu sedih gila tu. bila Ari brought it out, aku pun macam every time kita cut away kepada Endeavor, dia seorang dekat hospital. Nurse dengan doktor pun tak pernah nampak. It's like dengan itu berakhirlah segmen ini dan kita akan ke segmen kita yang seterusnya. Okay, segmen kita yang seterusnya adalah tentang Hawks versus the League of Villains. So kita punya spekulasi last episode was like tak mungkin dia akan jadi jahat. And true enough, kita nampak dalam the next scene tu ada line especially yang that wasn't our deal, can we be friends, Dabi, yang dikatakan oleh Hawk. Dan kita mempelajari a little bit about Hawk's backstory. Rupa-rupanya dia ni ialah macam anak yatim begitu, lepas tu maybe taken in by the government, the police, and then dia membesar menjadi seorang superhero, dan sekarang dia di-asked to infiltrate the League of Villains. So persoalan aku kepada korang adalah, nombor 1, who ordered Hawks to go undercover? Is it the police, the government of Japan, his handlers? Then question number 2 ialah, will Dabi realize that Hawks is secretly infiltrating the League of Villains for intel? Kita mulakan dengan Syaz. Silakan Syaz.
Okay, dia punya the two characters tu macam pernah nampak tapi I tak ingat sangat where they're from. So mungkin after this Anri boleh pick up that one lah. Tapi kalau nak menghala ke teori Brazil ni boleh je. So what I suspect is going to happen is partly actually I was a bit sedih juga when they showed that Hawks ni menerima arahan daripada the old man and the lady tu kan. Because if they left it alone and later on bila Hawks dah kena injured ke apa baru dia buat flashback ni, then I think would have been a better storytelling lah. Cuma when you consider dia punya, how shall we put it, the target audience, kalau tiba-tiba dia tunjuk, ini dah kenapa jahat, nanti all the budak-budak nanti tak puas hati. Kan? Because macam kalau for the more mature audience macam kita, we will appreciate the suspense tau. Dia ni yes ke, tak ke, yes ke. Then finally baru reveal, oh, it was an instruction from superhero punya community apa ke to infiltrate. So in terms of Dabi pula, I think Dabi knows he's going to be played. So dia buat bodoh. Nampak tak? He's slowly stringing Hawks along. So sambil he fulfill his side of the bargain, he will get something even better. Contohnya exactly this no move fight lah. If you look at dia punya agreement, supposed to be the next day, bring us a no move.
Yeah.
But he bring a no move that is much stronger because he's hoping to injure a superhero along the way and whatnot.
Ya, dia minta mid-level superhero. Lepas tu dia marah bila Hawks bawa
kau bawa lah a strong one. Lala bawa Endeavor. So this is a mini subplot lah. This like a psychological battle antara dia orang. It's like siapa lebih pandai sekarang ni? Is it going to be Dabi ke? Is it going to be Hawks ke? They both know they are playing with fire lah. Sorry for the pun kan. But it's more of like who would be the smarter one? Sebab Hawks pun is a very smart person. He knows, he would think like 3-4 times si Dabi ni. Adakah dia akan fulfill his end of the bargain. And the most important part sekarang yang masih tanda soal ni, how did Hawks actually convince Dabi to believe him? Because dalam episod 2 ni, episod 2 dia tak tunjuk langsung.
Yes, betul.
They just show that they are already cooperating tau. Tapi the first bertemu tu bila? How did he get into contact? What makes Dabi, caused Dabi to believe in Hawks? Hero datang jumpa kau, tiba-tiba jom kerjasama. Wow. As a villain, I don't think that is feasible. Unless you are promising him something in particular lah.
I think rasanya bila kita dapat tahu backstory Hawks dengan lebih lanjut, maybe we'll even get a flashback kepada first time Hawks berjumpa dengan Dabi.
Unless sorry, just nak add one more.
Ya, silakan.
Lupa nak cakap tadi. There is a potential that mungkin Hawks dengan Dabi ni dah kenal each other before they became hero and villain.
Wow.
That would be the best teori Brazil lah. Tak tahu dalam manga ada review ke tak lah kan. Mungkin dia orang daripada sekolah lama dulu ke apa ke. So that's why dia orang ada handphone number masing-masing kan.
Aku rasa Anri secretly dah tahu and trying his best not to tell us.
Anri gelak je lah hati ni. Syaf ni teori Brazil ni mengaruh lah.
Anri, what are your thoughts? Do you think that Dabi sebenarnya tahu yang Hawks ni is trying to play him? And actually siapa yang suruh Hawks go undercover? If you can shed some light. Is it a big spoiler ataupun you're okay with it? Silakan.
Okay, to answer your first question, does Dabi knows that he's being played by Hawks? I said last week that Dabi is smarter than what people expected of him. He knows and he distrusts everyone.
Sorry.
Yeah. He punya plan, when he makes a plan, it's like this. Even when the plan fails, he makes sure that he's a few steps closer to his goal. That's the level of mind games that he's playing. So for me to actually say what's going on is going to be a bit spoiler, but trust me on this. Whatever you expected Dabi to fall, uh, he's a step ahead actually. Compared
And
to
then
Shiragaki, probably Shiragaki is like 2 steps ahead. Dabi is like 1 step below, but he's still formidable by at that level.
apakah kesinambungan Scratch? I think either Endeavour or Hawks was saying that the last time kau yang bunuh Scratch kan. It's like, why is Scratch so important? Aku like I didn't get that
Snatch
from
tu,
this episode.
Scratch.
Yes, sorry. Yeah, Scratch ke Snatch. Yeah, why is he so important, or was that just a callback ke apa?
I can recall Snatch as a character. He's not that important to me, not memorable. So I'm just guessing that he was just bit upset that one of his fellow peers got killed off on his watch.
Okay.
You have to understand they were deployed, and one of the teammates are dead. It hits the community hard. Like Night Eye bila mati, right? It was a big deal. Everyone
pada aku,
felt it.
Dia macam watak sampingan yang tiba-tiba je like dapat double callback dalam episod ni. Aku macam apa hal, macam babat ni penting ke? He looks like a Hulk Hogan rip-off very like.
And to answer your second question, I think
silakan.
it's very obvious that the ones giving Hawks the order was his handlers. And just to keep in mind, his handlers is not just his own people or the government. It's basically a mixture of all that. Hawks, you have to understand, the hero business is basically a profit-oriented business. They take commissions, they take out bounties, and jobs from the government, they get paid for it. So it's a mix of everything. His handlers are the government, those who took care of him when he was young, his benefactors. And probably he's a PR agent, you never know. He may have his own agency trying to, maximize profit and get up all the best jobs. Maybe after this thing is over, he thought he could make a book, go high profile.
Okay. That's a cool angle. And actually that's one of the things yang aku suka tentang My Hero Academia actually. Implementation dia memang agak realistic tau. Because I think kita hanya nampak sedikit of this dalam MCU where when the Avengers first fucked up di Sokovia, you saw the government coming in and then there was the Sokovia Accords. But this one was like a well thought out universe di mana you have the government involved, you have the police involved, you must have a license to have an agency. So pada aku it's agak mind blowing because I've never seen it in DC Comics ataupun Marvel Comics sebelum ni.
Nak tambah satu ni?
Ya, silakan Syaz ya.
Okay, kalau dari segi anime, Hawks punya development was actually hinted dalam the ending credits. Whether it was season 3 or 4, I tak ingat. But they showed him as a small kid in training and there were people around him. Adults in suits teaching him how to shoot blindfolded, how to control the feathers and so on. So memang dari dulu dia orang dah tunjuk he has been trained to how to use his feathers and all that. Within that same ending credits pun dia ada tunjuk some of the heroes and villains punya past masa kecil, but it's like snippet je lah, macam like snapshot gambar and so on.
Ni masa musim ketiga?
I think so, ada 3 or 4.
Okay.
So memang it was the anime viewers, the strictly anime viewers, kita dah introduced to Hawks ni as a kid. And because kita dah pernah dengar nama Hawks somewhere within the anime punya seasons tu, so kita akan trigger lah, this guy got feather, it's probably Hawks lah kot. So when they show that he's a guy who's been trained since young to be heroic and whatnot, but he doesn't really care for fame as they mentioned, that's why his hati dia kuat, dia boleh handle undercover punya job.
Does this mean, Andri, yang Hawks tak pernah pergi sekolah macam UA and stuff like that? Is he like a special case? Daripada kecil sampai hero?
If I tell how his childhood went, it's going to be spoiler. So
okay.
So I'll just say just continue to watch lah.
Okay, interesting.
It will his childhood, his past will be told, and most of it just came out like a few chapters ago. It was quite recent.
So maksudnya dari segi anime sense, is it gonna be in season 4 ataupun is it gonna be held back sampai season 5, season 6, season 7?
His past childhood and his childhood will probably be explained briefly in the near future, but for the really detailed information about his past and childhood, his motivations, becoming hero, and all those things, we just learned about it recently actually.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
mind blowing pasal pada aku dia hanya
that's already
watak
spoiler.
sampingan.
That's already spoiler. I just told you that he's gonna live that long.
Yeah, that's why. Aku macam I'm quite mind blown because I thought he's just supporting act je dalam season 4 and sekarang gradually seeing him becoming somebody dalam season 5. So, yeah. Let's wait and watch. So kita ada beberapa komen daripada penonton di rumah ya. Kedua komen ni daripada Mofa daripada YouTube. Pertama dia kata Hawk ni banyak kali disebut dalam anime. Dia agensi yang ajar Tokoyami guna kuasa dia semua. Cuma sebelum ni dia sebut je nama tak tunjuk muka. Tokoyami ni yang mana satu babe?
Gagak.
Anybody remember? Oh. Okay. Make sense. Flight base dengan flight base.
Betul-betul bro macam burung kan.
Yes.
Yeah, avian.
There you go, that's the one I mentioned tadi.
Oh, ni Mufa bagi kita spoiler sikit. Musim keempat punya ending ada tunjuk Hawk masa kecil. Oh, sorry. Musim keempat. Ya. Referring kepada apa yang Syah cakap tadi.
Previous one lah.
Yeah, that's cool. Nampaknya aku kena tengok balik season 4 macam ni. Okay, dengan itu berakhirlah segmen ini dan kita ke segmen kita yang seterusnya. Okay, segmen kita yang seterusnya adalah plot menarik yang ketiga ya. So kita nampak Endeavour dah keluar daripada hospital, dia jumpa dengan Hawk sekejap, lepas tu dia cakap dia nak chow sekejap. And then you see that dia pulang ke rumah family dia ya, which dah bergolak over the past few seasons. Dan kita nampak dalam dia punya surprise party tu yang dia punya eldest son Nadzru is pissed kerana ayah dia kembali. Sedangkan anak perempuan dia Fuyumi is trying to patch things up between the family and Endeavour. Dan surprisingly, Shoto the youngest is pretty neutral. You know, there is one line yang dia cakap Shoto wants him to step up as a father. At the same time, it is intercut dengan a TV punya news scene di mana public opinion on Endeavour is still mixed. So, persoalan aku kepada korang adalah adakah Nadzru dan Endeavour punya wife will ever come around to see that Endeavour is trying his best? Kita mulakan dengan Syaz. Silakan Syaz.
Oh, this one actually quite a lot of points. Firstly, mungkin you tak perasan kot that the doctor mentioned that the wife dah forgive.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, they mentioned it in the sub. So, not so much forgive, but it's more like acceptance. Macam like Shoto sekarang.
So kalau acceptance, where was she in that surprise scene? Tak ada pun? Or is she still in a home? Aku tak ingat.
Tak, dia dalam macam hospital.
Like
I don't think
asylum?
I think dia belum keluar lagi.
Oh, okay.
Kalau tidak, I'm pretty sure she will be there. But if I'm not mistaken, Shoto ada visit dia punya the mum, and then dia ada mention pasal dia ada flowers ke apa ke being left there. So she is slowly becoming aware, and she knows who is putting those flowers there because yalah, Endeavour je seorang je tahu the mum punya favourite flowers kan.
Yeah. So
yang
silakan.
Okay, so then the next part is yang Nadzru ni, this was an interesting thing because I watched the episode 2 on 2 different places tau. So the sub ada perbezaan. So this one caught me by surprise. Dekat Netflix tu, they did not mention a character punya name when Nadzru tengah confront dengan bapak dia kat pintu tu kan. So Nadzru mention you did the same or something like that to somebody named Toya.
Oh.
So for somebody who did not read the manga. I have no idea who this Toya is. So kalau nak fikir mungkin teori Brazil datang dari sini lah kot. Because if you really want to consider it, there is a possibility that Dabi might know Endeavour or could be another wife or mother. We don't know.
Aku surprised kenapa Netflix left that out of their subtitle.
Mungkin
Actually, itu persoalan lebih penting tau. Kenapa Netflix left that out?
Ya, tapi the thing is, you know lah, bila orang yang buat subs ni, it might not actually be somebody called Toya. It might actually be an actual full word. So the secondary source tu mungkin not as good as subber as Netflix. So aku tak boleh nak komen sangat benda tu. But it does sound like when you listen to it kan, when you know what you're looking for, it does sound like it's mentioning an older brother named Toya ni or something like that. So macam bila aku dengar tu kan, mula dah oleh teori Brazil keluar dah kan. Because if you look dari segi potential age punya ni, ni menghala ke banyak fan teori lah yang suka, that they like to think teori Brazil ni. Dabi punya age looks to be older than Nadzru. So could he be the, anak Endeavour from another family ke, or mungkin a brother that they refuse to acknowledge ke, sebab Shoto and the sister tak cakap apa benda. So is the big question mark. Was it a subtitle error ataupun is really a fact that the anime viewers are being introduced for the first time?
Kita tengah scratching a surface yang aku rasa kau tak nak tahu until a few weeks from now.
Kan, aku tak nak tahu sebenarnya. Mofah dah tengah gelak dah tu. Gelak, aku dah tahu Syah, aku dah tahu.
Aku rasa Ari pun macam
Ari pun dah tengah aku
make no reaction. Make no reaction.
But, okay. Back to the yang kita tahu ni, the anime part yang kita tahu. Interestingly enough, even if you look at the gambar yang you're showing tu kan, dekat kita punya sebelah sini, Nadzru is like full white, and he is the one yang paling tak boleh nak accept Endeavour. The daughter is trying to accept, which has a bit of red hair here and there, while Shoto is like, aku neutral, aku like literally
half and half.
So it's like I'm willing to give you a chance, but the mom punya side tu is more like you still haven't proven enough yet. So the daughter just wants peace in the family sebab dia tak nak orang gaduh-gaduh. Nadzru ni dah terus like, aku dah give up dah, mamat ni aku dah tak peduli lah. Whereas Shoto is like, I will give you a chance, but it really depends on what you do lah moving forward. So
antara
that's why
semua anak Todoroki ni, siapa yang ada kuasa? Is it only Shoto yang ada kuasa?
Tak, the one that has the balance of fire dengan ice ni, only Shoto je. The rest all cannot manifest the fire punya side.
But they can do ice?
They can do ice.
Yeah.
So that's why dia orang bengang dengan Endeavour, because as we know Endeavour married the mum to get a genetical punya quirk punya melding lah.
Yes.
So in the end Shoto seorang.
Yeah. It wasn't about love. It was more about eugenics, mixing DNA.
Betul, it was eugenics. However, kita tak tahu their backstory. Mungkin at that point, maybe the wife really like Endeavour, but mana tahu, you wouldn't know people punya perangai ahead of time.
I think he was a douchebag even masa dia muda. So it's like kita lompat ke Henry sekarang
Boleh.
Henry, apa pendapat kau tentang this scene and is it sabar Netflix yang sengaja left the thing out ke because it's very integral atau apa? Silakan without spoiling anything.
From the anime source that I watched, I think it was a translation mistake done by Netflix. Because I'm not sure. Maybe I heard Toya's name mentioned.
Okay.
When they were speaking. But this is a common thing that big syndications do. Like, even Funimation, they have a lot of subtitle, even dubbing error. It always happens. This is what you call loss in translation. So,
but
I wouldn't.
It such a important plot point. I mean,
It's important.
Yeah, the name Toya Todoroki, is that even correct? Is that the full name ataupun we will
Uh,
know more further in the season?
they just say Toyani. So
Toyani,
Toyani,
okay.
Toyani, from Natsuo's view, is an
Mhm.
elder brother. But if I'm not mistaken, I think this is the first time, not the first time. The show mentioned that Shoto has an elder brother. I think there was a scene in the previous season masa Deku visited the hospital and ran into Shoto, and he visited the mother for the first time. Deku visited Shoto's mother, and then Shoto at one point apa masa keluar mentioned, oh, I used to have this brother but he's not with us anymore.
Correct.
So he said
Oh.
he died.
He died.
Yeah, and then this episode
Died.
we found and then this week episode we found out that so Toyani is your fault. So
Yeah.
so
So like
so
something
you,
happened to Toyani in the past and
Mhm.
Natsuo is putting all the blame on Endeavor lah.
Yeah, but to be fair, everything was Endeavor's fault. Everything that's happening, not happening, and will happen is Endeavor's fault. I think that's the bottom the joke for the show on him. He's basically a sad comedy character at this point.
Wow, and this is hero number one Syaz, apa pendapat kau tentang revelation daripada Anri ni? Because I cannot remember that past episode where Shoto was talking about an elder brother.
I don't recall the actual dialogue, but it does fit with all the theory Brazil out there lah. That the elder brother, the oldest brother ni, is someone who either dah pass away or is gone or missing from their family. That's why you don't see him around anymore. So maybe masa the fire, come out was not as strong or different color maybe. Itu yang jadi buat Endeavor marah. So push him so hard and then maybe he run away or died, which is the way I like to put it now, since this is Teori Brazil season kan. So you want to link it to apa conspiracy theory, why would Dabi be so angry at Endeavor on a personal basis?
Yeah,
Why would
sampai
he bother
panggil full
calling
name.
out sampai kau jangan mati sampai cakap full name dia. So that was like really a crazy moment lah. But if you look at it from how do we put it, from another perspective kan, Endeavor is really trying, tapi sebab dia ni mamak bodoh kan. Sebab you tengok all his life everything he does is all based on power tau. Kalau kita nak tengok dari segi RPG punya archetype, punya karakter archetype kan, he's a power based punya karakter. Dia tak ada macam intellect tinggi, tak boleh nak nyanyi macam Bard,
Yeah, it's just
So
pure
he's-
brawn. Yeah.
pure bronze. So but his fighting skills is very good. The only reason why All Might was stronger than him is partly because of the one for all punya quirk punya ability. If you see dari segi effort and all that, Endeavor should be number one. Tapi sebab perangai dia ni, dia macam bully kan. So, mungkin since young he's always been a bully type character. So now when he has lost the one and only goal that he ever had in his entire life, to beat All Might as number one, tiba-tiba macam you accelerating, kau nak macam magic kan, kau nak rem ke mana, kau tak ada apa, hala tuju
Larang.
tak ada,
Tak ada.
kan. You're
Yeah.
moving so fast forward now, but there's no more direction because in front of you is just clear roads. So that caused him to slow down, and then dia nampak, family aku, like what is people looking at me, how is, how the world viewing me. Like Andri mentioned in the previous punya kita punya previous chat kan, he is his own personal the most harsh critic lah. So now with no higher goal, he is suddenly forced to look down though, because now he's at the top. So there's nothing to look further up anymore. So you have to look down. You have to look down. Then that's why he begin to realize public opinion, orang dekat dia macam mana, how much he's been causing pain and problem for the family, you know. And I think this is where his character transformation will begin. But he has a lot of work lah. That's why I wish they showed his dialogue antara Endeavour dengan Nadzru. Do you remember the part when he stepped out? Dia ada macam monologue dalam kepala dia kan. He stepped out, but they never showed them talking tau. So macam like, alah, that would be a really great moment in the anime. But I guess they want to leave it for another episode lah kot.
That scene, maybe they were not even talking at all. Maybe he's just, not just be beside him, just to show that he's not abandoning Nadzru in his moment of rage. He doesn't need to talk to Nadzru because he knows when he talks to him, memang sakit hati tau. Whatever he said just pisses him off. Because you have to understand, Natsuo's point of view, that was the first time he was having dinner with Shoto. And after like what, 16 years baru dapat tahu adik dia kan suka makan mi soba. I don't have no idea. Can you imagine? Can you imagine seeing apa? Oh, this is my adik. What's your favorite food? I don't know. Now you know.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's sad.
What happened in the past? What broke this family down?
Kan he mentioned, right, this is what happened to our family. Bila Shoto was small, all he did was train and he kept separated from the other family. I think it was mentioned throughout the whole show, Shoto was alienated by everyone. All he knows is training. All he was indoctrinated is to becoming the perfect weapon for Endeavour, because his plan for Shoto was like this. Endeavour wanted to beat All Might.
Yes.
And he knows there's a big chance that won't happen, but he hopes that kalau dia tak boleh beat All Might, at least dia punya anak can beat All Might. And for some reason, he believes Shoto would be the best candidate to defeat All Might.
Wow.
Now that All Might has retired because memang dah power dah out semua.
Yeah.
He cannot beat All Might. His son cannot beat All Might. All his plans are over, done. He needs a new thing to do, a new hobby.
Wow.
So,
that's a pretty sad character arc, man.
I told you, sad comedy, this guy.
His whole reason for existence dah tak ada tau. It's like All Might is not there anymore. So dia macam hilang arah terus.
I tengok dia drama sedih, I'm laughing inside. Because you fucked yourself badly. This is tahap Game of Thrones punya tragic tau.
Yeah, man, tragic comedy. Persoalan aku adalah, what happened to the eldest Itoyani? Was that the one yang affected Shoto? That means Shoto saw that happen to his eldest brother, therefore he bila kita jumpa dia at the beginning of season 1, dia macam ultimate hatred kepada ayah dia. Or was it purely what happened to his mom yang done the training, done the isolation? Shaz?
I'm not sure whether Shoto actually met the oldest brother. But honestly, the thing that made Shoto very angry with the father is treatment of him and the mom, to the point where the mom had to be put into mental institute and whatnot. So dari segi anime alone, I tak nampak, but he is aware. So whether pernah jumpa personally or not, that one I'm not sure lah. But we are mentioning on this dari segi dia punya Shoto punya development is very consistent tau. The fact that at the start of season 1, he's like very cold, aloof, distant and everything kan. And then as the time went along, he began to become more open. So it's consistent with the treatment that he got as a child. Because he was isolated from the rest of his family, he tak tahu how to communicate and whatnot. Dengan sampai main pun, Endeavour tak bagi dia main dekat dalam snow tau. I think the grandma was in the episode 5. Dia tunjuk one scene. The adik-beradik were playing, and then the grandma or whoever was around, and then it's like Shoto's being dragged to the dojo again to practice again, because the balance of fire and ice makes him capable of using both in such a balanced way, so that you tak ada macam overheat like Endeavour, or you become too frozen like the mum punya side. That was his theory lah for the ultimate soldier.
That's cool. That's cool. Aku takkan tanya Andri pasal Andri tahu jawapan dia. So
Kan?
kita akan baca beberapa komen dari penonton di rumah. Okay, jadi Mofa daripada YouTube menambah, Shoto cakap pasal parut Endeavour tu selamba je, tak guna punya anak. But I feel that is a physical link antara ayah dengan anak, which I think something they can share sometime in the future.
I think that was an awkward moment because I think Shoto tried to, break the ice, nak borak. And the first thing he noticed was parut tu. You have to understand, Shoto is an awkward person. He doesn't know how to interact people socially. Saya dengar dia cakap tu kan, I laugh because aku ingat saya gaduh dengan Endeavour tau. But apparently it was not there was no bad intent. He just makan, bukan bodoh je. Because I'm just stating a fact. If you get angry, I have nothing to say. And Endeavour was like, ini Shoto, dia bukan nak cakap gaduh dengan aku, anak aku ni macam ni, aku buat. I'm like, okay, biar.
Also for Shoto, dia pun dah ada parut, so it's like, why would he insult someone with a parut on the left? Dalam same side pula tu.
Yeah.
It's not like satu sini, it's literally the same side. So macam like, hey, now my father looks like me, that kind of thing.
Yeah, it was a harmless remark tapi pasal dia awkward kan.
Memang, it wasn't cakap gaduh lah.
He wasn't even smiling now. He was just eating, muka macam blur je.
I think the whole family is awkward, man. It's like
yeah, and whose fault is that? Endeavour?
Yeah, whose fault is that? Yeah, definitely. Komen seterusnya, kalau tengok masa season 2 ada tunjuk yang adik-beradik Todoroki tengah main. Maybe Syaz boleh tengok balik kot. Nanti Syaz akan mind blown. Wow.
Ada. They did show this one. Maybe I better go and review balik lah.
I'm sure kau akan tertarik dengan scene tu. That's all I can say. It's like, satu benda lah Syaz, kau jangan Google Todoroki family. Jangan.
Oh tak apa, aku tak percaya Google ni. News, okay, nanti you pening.
Yes.
Nanti 1000 teori Brazil keluar.
Banyak fan art di luar sana ya yang you don't want to see. Okay.
Okay.
Dengan itu berakhirlah segmen ini dan kita ke segmen kita yang seterusnya. Okay, segmen kita yang seterusnya adalah actually the cliffhanger ending ya, di mana kita dapat tengok sikit One for All Secret Origin. So yeah, itulah basically the episode was very jumpy. You jump from one act to another arc to another arc. So if it didn't feel linear, but I guess dia nak mulakan season with a bang and then like set up all these story arcs. So akhirnya kita nampak mimpi basah Deku yang terbaru ya. Mimpi Deku yang terbaru ya. Di mana I think my favorite line ialah I found a power even a weakling like you could use. Aku macam di sini kita akhirnya nampak bahawa All for One, iaitu the elder brother, is the source for One for All, i.e. the younger brother. Rasanya ni continuation daripada season-season sebelum ni. This revelation, aku rasa korang dah tahu sebelum ni. Soalan aku kepada korang adalah, why can't Deku see the first two wielders of One for All masa diorang berdiri ramai-ramai tu, and what is the singularity that the first wielder is referring to? Kita mulakan dengan Syaz, silakan.
Okay, first up, singularity tu I completely do not know what it is, because as far as I recall, termasuk movie sekali, there was no mention of singularity.
Yeah.
But why they cannot see the previous users tu, I rasa is how do we put it there? Because it takes time for each user to get used to the One for All punya power. So that's why even the original bearer of the quirk tu, he also takes some time to mention I can only reveal 20% to you. So mungkin there is more than just physical mastery of this thing. Mungkin dia kena sebati dengan your whole sehati sejiwa kind of thing. That's why if you can see, you tengok even Deku punya, like you can see there's a lot of shadow around him kan.
Yeah.
That might show that he is not fully mastered it yet.
Tapi yang peliknya kan, it's like to me ialah mimpi Deku. But it's like the first wielder also has a sentience. Boleh cakap balik, I can only reveal 20% to you. Aku macam,
Yes, that was the part
who's
that
in
is
control of this
mind-blowing.
dream? Yeah, who's in control of this dream right now? You know, it's like,
It's probably the quirk itself lah. Mungkin at some point, ini again teori Brazil. Bila that one for all punya quirk masuk badan the first user tu, it combined with hidden talents within him. So one of it is to kumpul power, and one of his hidden power is the ability to put your heart and soul into it, which is kind of funny because All Might was not there.
well,
Padahal-
macam Ari cakap last week, All Might tak mati lagi, so that's why All Might isn't
So
in
mungkin lah, but then that goes into a whole metaphysical punya, spirit world kind of thing. So itu dah tahap mengarut dah tu. So I have no idea.
macam Jedi Knights lah kan, macam Jedi Knight mati
itulah.
jadi Force Ghost kan. So are these people Force Ghosts? Do they have sentience? Andri, what can you reveal without being spoilery?
Opening dia.
Oh. Okay, the power was not fully explained even until the current chapter, but from what
Wow.
was explained at this anime point, the show,
Yes.
okay, you see the row of previous users for the
Yes.
one for all.
7, and we only saw 5 out of the 7, yeah?
I think you
Yep.
just see 6. The other 2 blur, and All Might was not there yet. At that point I thought it was because Deku only managed to harness 20% of the powers of the one for all. Actually, maybe when he have better mastery of it, probably he can see the other 2. Maybe he wouldn't be kena pegang all the shadows. Maybe he can speak directly and touch him properly. But because of his mastery of the power is not at a level yet, maybe all he can do now is just be there. And do you know the power of Shazam?
Yeah, Shazam, yeah.
Yeah, I think the power of Shazam, right? It follows. Okay, you may not notice this, but at this particular scene, I think they have a lot of nods to DC Comics. Now, do you remember the point there when All for One he brought these 2 person, right? One have
Yes.
quirk, one doesn't have quirk. He
Yes.
didn't say that this guy has a quirk yang taring. He said this guy has a meta power. Taring. That meta power term is a term used by DC Comics. So I have a feeling, yeah. So coming back to the Shazam power theory, if I'm not mistaken, in the Shazam family, the less people use the power of Shazam, the stronger they'll be.
Yes.
Am I correct? I have a feeling, right, as long as All Might is still alive, Deku would never actually level up fully.
I think kalau kita tengok Shazam macam daripada movie dia lah, because that is the most recent retcon. They have 6 and then there is a 7 seed. Wait, SHAZAM tu baru 6. So each of them represents one of the Shazam powers. So one is speedy like Mercury, lagi seorang tu kuat, lagi seorang. So they each are the best embodiment of SHAZAM. Except for I think Shazam is the best of them all. Rasanya.
Shazam is the head of the table. He got all the traits, but if you see the power that Deku has, his connection to All Might, and the row of previous users, is basically a quirk that the power is related to the bonds of towards other people. Okay, because I think the power in the beginning was this much, but as it passes, it becomes bigger and bigger. And when it becomes bigger and bigger, it becomes much harder to actually transfer out, and it requires a lot of sacrifice. Which is why when All Might gives his power to Deku, he becomes very depleted.
Oh.
You see, the
Okay.
previous line of heroes, none of them actually look old. I think they all died early because of that trait. They
Wow.
died because they are bonded to the fate of the first user. They one for all for one. Sorry.
Yeah.
He
So,
was powerless. He was weak. I think he's suffering some sort of condition, but that's just my theory.
the question is dari segi timeline, how far back in time is this? Macam masa All for One muda sebelum dia jadi super villain. Is this what 30 years ago, 50 years ago, 40 years ago?
I think this was I don't know the exact year. It's probably the time when first people had quirks actually. You see the background, right? There were a lot of chaos.
Yeah.
People were fighting against the quirks and the non-quirks, and
Yeah.
there were a lot of buildings destroyed. This was the first time that the quirks manifested, at least from my understanding. So we know that All for One basically was there since the beginning of the quirk. So he basically has lived longer than all the other generations for All for One. One for All, sorry.
Yeah, that's very disturbing now. The fact yang All for One has outlived every version of One for All, maybe defeated them multiple times.
Yes.
So maksudnya All Might ni is just the number 8 version that is to be defeated ataupun that managed to defeat him. So mind blowing. He has defeated 7 different versions before this. Syaz, apa pendapat kau sebagai seorang penonton anime saja? Did that dawn on you, the fact that he has been around so long and has defeated 7 versions before this?
Actually, I think they did mention that he's being kept longer than his years. That dia ni memang apa he's being kept artificially alive for so long. So I tak ingat which episode was it. It's like very far back. So that's when they said like this is like my nemesis and so on. The funny thing is, All for One ni in balance. But there cannot be light without darkness. So it's quite funny, yeah. But kalau you nak kira that he defeated all of them, I don't know. I'm not sure whether that is possibly the scenario. Sebab it's not actually confirmed dekat anime whether all the other users are still alive or dead. I don't know. Andri, dalam manga dia ada reveal ke? Did they reveal whether the past users are still alive or whatnot?
They did.
Huh? Oh, dah okay, then maybe it's
I know
possible.
they did because if you remember, Guru All Might, right? She died fighting All for One.
Yes, that one was a fact because that one he himself mentioned it. And siap sebab macam ni. That was the part yang All Might mengamuk sangat tu because you perli dia punya favourite punya pose tu kan, like smile and everything, right? So that was something that All for One had to know lah.
Yeah, and you must and keep in mind when he killed the Sifu, I forgot the name. Nana name.
Nana
Shigaraki. Okay. She passed the power to All Might, and after her death, All Might becomes much more powerful because of the bond of the power of the One for All. Okay, so basically my theory yang this quirk has a mind and life of its own, and is based on the bonds of the previous users and the current users. It from the trend, I can safely say the previous users are all dead from the Ade All for One until Nana. So All Might is basically still there, and basically once he dies, Deku will have the full power, and then he'll know what the extent of the powers. Because right now, All Might. Oh, I don't want to spoil. Sorry.
Ni
I don't want
macam
to say
Adi,
All Might.
ya, macam
Aku dah
Adi nak
standby.
cakap
All
All Might akan mati je sometimes. Macam
We know All Might is gonna die. We all know All Might is gonna die.
yes.
It's just when. It's just when.
Kalau you
Okay.
tengok dari segi anime punya trope, the hero punya greatest supporter dalam anime usually tends to jalan. And that is when the hero will become the full hero lah that it was meant to be.
It's
So
okay.
that's
I
a-
think it's a common trope, so we're like expecting it to happen.
Yeah.
But it's more like whether he'll die in peace or in tragedy, we do not know.
I think that is a classic storytelling punya trope where the death of the elderly mentor. Kau
It's,
tengok Gandalf
It's very
hilang,
typical. It's the
Obi-Wan
passing of the
hilang.
torch, basically.
Yeah,
Yeah.
passing on the torch, ya. Dengan itu kita akan baca beberapa komen daripada penonton di rumah ya. Nombor satu daripada Iqbal Lee daripada YouTube. Aku nampak All Might punya manifestation yang lembaga kuning tu. Mofas juga menambah. Kalau tengok dalam ramai tu yang warna kuning macam All Might. Adakah itu All Might? Jeng jeng jeng. Apa
There is
pendapat
a
kau?
yellow.
Apa
betul.
pendapat kau?
It's quite interesting
think-
lah sebab
It doesn't have the All Might punya hair, right?
tak. So I don't know. It might be a different user, another power user. Because kalau kita nak tengok, if I'm not mistaken, there is lightning in Deku punya powers. It could also be representation of Mamat lightning tu. Tapi sebab Mofa ni tahu lebih, so dia punya foreshadowing tu macam like, okay mungkin.
Yes, pasal dia
But
baca manga juga.
Itulah. But what is interesting is the fact that none of the users acknowledge Deku. And only the original brother tu yang recognize him there. So I'm not sure what is the significance of this just yet lah dari segi anime ni.
Actually dalam anime sejak bila yang kita tahu bahawa All for One and One for All is linked? Was that in season 3 atau was that revealed in season 3? In the final battle between One for All and All Might?
Quite early actually.
Mm.
I say season 2 sebab season 1 tu macam budak-budak semua ni, but when they started fighting, then if I'm not mistaken, All Might mentioned that this power is passed on from generation to generation, and the source of the power was oddly enough from the villain. Ini kena research balik ni.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. It was during the battle between All Might and All for One, actually, if I'm not mistaken.
In season 3 was it?
I think so. The big battle lah, yang
The final fight lah. No?
the final fight for All Might. Yeah.
Is it masa tu juga dia taunt dia dengan Nana and the
Yes.
grandchild?
Yes.
So all that revelation was happening then, kan?
Yeah, this one I remember for a fact because that was when All Might really macam dah lah, he's losing, he's about to lose. I mean kalau if you are in universe, you'll be looking here and he's like, oh my god, All Might is going to lose. Itu All for One ni kan he's a complete evil lah. Dia tak ada macam comedy evil macam Wali Coyote and whatnot. He's a complete and pure evil character. So that's why he said, I saved this news kan. Maybe he didn't say it directly, but he sengaja save that one piece of news for that moment tau. For the final fight. Knowing that it will cause the most hurt. Because kau mati tak mati pun by my hand, you will know despair lah. That's
And
when
what
the
is this news again? The news of the cikgu kau
firstly he killed the teacher, and then secondly that the leader of the League of Villains ni, Shigaraki tu, is cucu kepada sensei dia. So, and you know, All Might being the hero could not protect someone of their descendant. Itu yang dia terus macam I thought he was going to just collapse there and then like cannot fight anymore, tapi kata tak silap aku dia punya cikgu sampai. So macam like because the teacher put him back on track lah. Sebab All Might ni dia jenis lurus bendul, dia kau senang nak cucuk dia, kau nak hasut dia semua tu is very easy. So that's why the cikgu nampak kan, kau jangan percaya, kau jangan sibuk cakap dia, focus on the fight. So when he took that to heart, then he was fighting properly again lah.
That's cool. That's cool. So kita ada 2-3 komen lagi daripada penonton di rumah. Iqbal Lee daripada YouTube menambah, lagi satu, 2 lembaga at the back. Dalam anime nampak kabur atau cloudy, tapi dalam manga agak jelas. Wow. Andri, you want to say anything about this ataupun is it too spoilery?
I don't recall, so there's nothing to spoil.
Okay.
Yeah. You have to understand,
Okay,
it's like 100 chapters before.
200
I think.
chapters ago. Yeah.
200 chapters before. There you go. And this is one title that I've read amongst many, and I watched a lot of other anime, so pardon me for not remembering everything.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Komen seterusnya daripada Mofa, All for One macam hidup dah lama sebab dia boleh curi kuasa orang. So maybe dia akan sentiasa muda macam Apocalypse dalam X-Men. Wow. One question, is My Hero Academia set in 2020 ataupun current times, ataupun because it's a flashback story, it's set in the past? Do we have a indication of time?
I think it's a 20XX punya kind of thing. So it's like up to you lah, whatever year you want. So that it gives them the freedom to write. It gives the mangaka the freedom to write whatever time he wants. So but there's no reference to say Donald Trump ke, Obama ke, Iraq War ke, tak ada. It's a generic Earth where Japan exists and there's heroes and villains. That's it.
Yeah.
I
agree.
just wondering, does World War II have any, did it even happen in My Hero Academia? The atomic age, World War II?
Tak ada. It was not, bukan tak ada. Dia macam like irrelevant points. So they just tolak tepi.
Okay. That's cool to know. Dan komen terakhir untuk segmen ini adalah daripada Iqbal Lee di YouTube. Dia fact check, dia kata it's Nana Shimura.
Okay.
Nama grandma Shigaraki.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's why dia cakap. Okay. I'm mixing the facts up.
That's why dia cakap apa? You were saying, Shaz?
Tak. Dia that's why mungkin dia cakap the original surname of the budak is itulah sama dengan Nana. So that is why All Might ni, but I'm mixing the names up. So thank you for the fact check.
Yeah.
Nice. Iqbal juga menambah yang ni this blew my mind last week actually. Tapi Iqbal menambah. The thing is, in the very first episode, Deku always said that this is the story on how I became the number one hero. So selama ni aku lupa yang this is a flashback. This whole like 4 seasons is a flashback, or 307 chapters, 309 chapters, everything is a flashback. So mind blown. Aku macam I didn't realize that it was a flashback. So yes, I look forward to Deku being number one eventually.
So memang confirm dia akan jadi number one. So can you imagine after this there might be, instead of Boku no Hero Academia, mungkin Boku no Hero University, or Deku becoming the number one hero?
Actually, kalau kau tengok chapter 307, jeng. Okay, no spoilers. Okay, dengan gitu berakhirlah segmen ini dan kita punya post credit scene ya. Okay, jadi babak menarik terakhir yang kita bakal bincangkan adalah the post credit scene, di mana kita nampak joint training sikit-sikit ataupun permulaannya, di mana Deku mengatakan there's a mutation in my body, but aku terpaksa bersedia untuk join training scene ni, dan tiba-tiba kau nampak a footstep of a special guest. So persoalan aku kepada korang adalah, is Shinso from accounts class of 1C the special guest for this joint training? Maksudnya, is he formally acknowledged by the trainers that okay, kita masukkan Shinso as like somebody to fuck up the joint training? Shaz, apakah spekulasi kau?
Oh, confirm. As somebody yang tengok anime pun, I boleh nampak sangat lah, because it's already been shown dalam the poster. Dalam the poster tu, one thing, in the intro itself, dia orang tunjuk where Deku's like flying down and dah nak landing dah ni, and then he's looking up and he's like, I'm ready to fight you. So the question is, adakah dia tu going to adopt the role as a villain? So both teams akan fight to beat him first, or is he one of the people to be rescued? Sebab nampak gaya macam dia nak bergaduh lah dalam the intro punya scene tu. And honestly, he is strong enough to be a villain. Cuma in fact kalau you tengok when they were showing him in one of the ending episode ke apa ke, or credit scene, dia macam muka sedih tau, macam like he's walking somewhere and then ada muka sedih macam like alamak, you know, this is probably something I have to do lah, what can I do? If not, how can I have a chance of you know, facing the heroes in battle again? So I think he's just taking the role lah. And you will notice that dia macam ada this macam Aizawa Sensei punya ni, so that's
bindings macam Aizawa kan.
Tu macam like, wah, ini apa cerita kan. That one is new. I don't recall he was using it.
Sorry, what is Shinso's power again? They touch somebody and then he gains control, or
no, he doesn't touch. Dia cakap, orang tu jawab, dengar, mind control, mind jack.
Yeah, the power suggestion. So kenapa tiba-tiba dia kena pakai macam Aizawa tu? Is it just for like nampak cool ataupun aku macam what?
It could be a weapon that he is smart enough to use lah. Sebab Aizawa bila pakai benda tu is a physical punya weapon. It's not mind power ke or automated weapon ke, tak. It's just ropes and manipulation lah. Bukan ropes lah. Aizawa ni dia macam special binding punya equipment.
Henry, is there anything you can tell us? Like does that lead to his powers? It has nothing to do with his powers, right? The bindings?
The binding. If I tell you what the bindings are for, it's going to be a spoiler because it's supposed to be one of his hidden trump cards.
Oh, okay.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah. He came with new gear. That's what I'm saying. New outfit, new gear, new motivation. So, what I was expecting from last episode is going to happen on episode 3. So that is basically more action from class 1B.
Nice. Yes.
Yeah.
I think that is one of the things I'm looking forward to as well. I think kita hanya ada satu. Ya, silakan.
But then Nick, this raises a very important question. I thought all the gear was meant for the hero class only, 1A dengan 1B. So how did Shinso get permission to get all this special gear?
Somebody from class 1C tiba-tiba, you know, not even a hero class.
Yeah.
So,
because he's getting involved with this training. If he just datang selamba je, he might as well become, you know, a spectator. If he's going to get involved, he must be equipped for it. Makes sense. It's not like the episode 1 training apa separuh hati. This is like the real thing. This is a joint training. You're gonna get rank. This is beyond the record. So you better come with your A game.
Okay, interesting.
So it's a chance for him to show his ability jugalah.
Yeah, he wants to become a hero. Yeah.
Lia aku adalah dia sepatutnya jadi victim, tapi midway dia macam fuck this shit, I will be the fucking hero.
Itulah kan.
I don't know how far off base I am, man. I don't know how far off base I am.
We'll find out next week.
We will find out next week. Komen kita untuk segmen ini adalah daripada Iqbal Lee daripada YouTube. Tak sabar nak tengok winter hero uniform diorang. What the hell is a winter hero uniform? Can you shed some light on it?
Kat Jepun, they always have, kalau if the show goes on for a whole year, they will have like spring punya costume, then they have summer, winter. Is dia orang punya tukar baju uniform masa sekolah.
Oh.
Kita tak ada. Okay. We don't have. Kita orang sebab satu season je panas. So it's the same uniform from start to end. But for them, they have like winter uniform, they have spring uniform, summer uniform, macam tu lah.
Okay, that's interesting. Dan Mofa menambah, Henry pandai buat semua berteori. Aku rasa Mofa ni dia tengok setiap minggu nak ketawa dekat aku dengan Syaz juga macam.
Tak apa. It adds to the fun, you see, because when you have interaction macam tu, that means that it keeps the interest going tau, from a external viewpoint. And I think it's quite interesting lah, the way that it's like I give them a small teaser kan. Lepas kita macam like we're looking forward to it some more. Especially when kita punya teori semua lari. That's the best part. It's like, oh sebenarnya Dabi ni bukannya abang tapi cousin rupanya. That kind of thing kan. And that siapa-siapa what the missing brother sebenarnya lari daripada rumah and then become cross-dresser or some nonsense like that kan. So like it's more fun that way.
It could be anything. Dabi could be anak haram endeavor daripada bini perempuan simpanan dia. You never know. Atau mungkin
that sounds like actual piece of story itu.
Tak. If it was true, he will say.
Maybe Dabi tu, anak kepada another fire hero, then endeavor surpass and abuse him.
Yeah.
So a lot of things can happen.
Could be so lah.
But I'm not saying that all this is true.
Dia mula dah.
No comment. Aku hanya boleh cakap no comment ya. Aku dah kena spoil pasal aku Google lebih untuk show ni nak buat overlay. So aku dah ternampak terlalu banyak fan art. Ya, aku dah terspoil bro. Aku dah terspoil. Okay, dengan itu berakhirlah segmen ini dan kita ke segmen terakhir kita malam ini. Okay, segmen terakhir kita malam ini adalah harapan kita untuk episod My Hero Academia minggu depan. Harapan aku adalah kita akan tengok kuasa-kuasa unik daripada kelas 1B ya. I think it's been too long in the making. Daripada sejak poster pertama aku macam who the hell are these guys? Beyond the 5 yang kita dah kenal selama ni throughout the seasons, I would like to see some very interesting quirks used very uniquely. Syaz, apakah harapan kau untuk episod minggu depan?
Basically sama je. I'm looking forward to the 1A, 1B punya training because I think the nature of Hawks and Dabi ni punya storyline, they'll push it to the back for a while because it's running in the background kan. So it can run until the next fight baru dia akan reeling balik lah to the story.
Kau rasa berapa episod this training will be? How far can they stretch this? 5 episodes? 3 episodes? 7 episodes? Half of the season? How far would the joint training be? Because like kalau kau tengok season 4, diorang berlari dekat dalam gangster punya tempat tu macam babi, half season sial. It's like you fucking took so long.
It can be about at least 4 episodes because for them to really showcase the cooperation, the challenge and the fact that Shinso ni has a point to prove tau. If he is the villain and he knows 20, 40 people are gunning for him kan, he has to figure out how to run away and he can do it. And who is to say he does not take over any of the heroes halfway through? You can imagine kan, tiba-tiba kan, you tengah gerak-gerak, tiba-tiba Shinso bisik kat tepi kan, dah makan belum? Dah.
Yeah, that's his ability. Yeah, fuck.
Because all you need to do is just answer it. You're like, yo, you can literally just respond to him by saying yo balik, and then you dah kena captured. So to do justice to the fight,
it's not just 1A versus 1B. It's more like it's a 3-way fight between 1A, 1B and Shinso's army, right? Yeah. Because I think Shinso will be taking over a few of them at least lah. Most likely Mineta lah kot sebab dia ni selalu jadi mangsa kan. And then people like kan, can you just imagine Mineta's power like really figured out by somebody that can control him, you know?
Yep. Because all he has to do is control you and he just said just go attack your classmates and that's it. Itu je. He can just give a generic punya statement because all this time Shinso punya power has been held back.
Wow. Henry, anything that you're hoping for next week?
Next week I'm pretty sure they're going to show a lot more on class 1B. But personally, I think this is not going to happen. I wish they would feature more waifu characters. Yeah, I wish they would show us more waifu characters. I mean, we see
tak sampai seminit. Hilang.
That's minute. Yeah. I haven't seen my best number 1 waifu, Mizuki.
Ooh.
Which character is this?
Mizuki, Makugo.
Mak Bakugo.
Best character ever.
Dia punya skin lembut tu.
Dia punya skill bantai Bakugo. Even the villains susah buat.
Okay, kita ada beberapa komen daripada penonton di rumah ya. This might be spoilery, but Iqbal Lee daripada YouTube mengatakan 12 episod sebab banyak match up.
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty long, man. That would be nearly half the season then.
I think I mentioned in the first episode, usually for My Hero Academia, they will break it into 2 course, 13 episodes, 12 episodes to 13 episodes, something like that. The first one will be this one, the training arc. The last one could be something yang Endeavor dengan Hawks setting up all this dengan Dabi. That was
cool.
my expectations. Probably happen, probably wouldn't happen. Maybe it's just a setup. Maybe it's going to be battle and then the follow-up for all this intrigue, internal affairs thing that's Hawks is doing is going to be carried to next season. But that's my take. For sure, the first 12-13 episodes is going to be a training arc.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. I think Mofa juga menambah daripada YouTube. Kalau baca statement Studio Bones dah bagi tahu keseluruhan episod ada beberapa, i.e. the joint training. So kalau standard manga ada 2 arc, so maybe half the season, i.e. Iqbal Lee mengatakan half of 25 episodes. So yeah, it kind of makes sense that the joint training would be 12 episodes. Wow, I can't wait. To see.
That would be good because memang kita nak tengok pun dia match up. Kita tak naklah macam 1A to just curb stop 1B kan.
Yeah.
Because we know that it's not 1B is the second class. It's more like 2 class going together side by side, you know. But kebetulan 1A ni yang di-highlightkan as the story punya hero. So they get the bulk of the villain punya attack. Up to the point, kalau tak silap aku, one of the character actually mention, kenapa kita kena serang je ni, penat. He was getting tired of being attacked, and it's probably Mineta lah. Asyik kita.
Actually,
silakan Henry, you were saying?
Okay, actually having this going on for like the next 10-11 episodes is actually a very good pacing. Actually, you have to understand that class 1A has 20 hero candidates, class 1B has 20 hero candidates plus Shinso. That's 41 hero characters with different powers. So we can see them in 10 episodes or 12 episodes. That'll be great actually.
And I'm really looking forward kepada watak-watak sampingan macam Mineta suddenly being taken over by Shinso, and maybe we get to see, hopefully, watak-watak sampingan macam ni unleash their true potential.
Yes.
Because maybe before this they are being held back by their own, tak focus and shit like that. Imagine kalau Shinso can make Mineta deadly as fuck. Aku tak boleh brain lah, but it will be cool lah, Iqbal Lee, komen terakhir kita daripada YouTube mengatakan this arc will highlight class 1B. Aku tak sabar.
Yeah, agreed. Memang.
Cool.
I'm very happy to see.
Maka dengan itu berakhirlah episod kita malam ini. Terima kasih kepada para panelis kita, Syaz dan juga Andri. Dan juga terima kasih kepada anda kerana menonton. So, apa pendapat korang tentang episod minggu ini? Tell us in the comment section below. Jumpa lagi untuk episod minggu depan. Majulah fandom untuk negara. Thank you guys.
Bye-bye.